Welcome back to another guide. Today, I'm talking about Ruan Mei, one of the best Harmony characters that gives a lot of powerful buffs and can fit in just about every team comp. So how do you build her? Let's get into it.
Looks like it's tea time.
So Ruan Mei is a 5-star Harmony character who can buff most teams in a variety of ways, which makes her a good support option regardless of team comps. This is due to the variety of things, but let's start at the skill. Ruan Mei's skill is a team-wide damage buff that lasts for 3 turns. What's special about this skill is the fact that it also increases weakness break efficiency, something that no other support can currently offer. The talent she has is also amazing as it increases the speed of your entire team, which helps hit certain speeds that some teams need. In addition to that, it also deals extra damage to enemies on a weakness break. So what does the ultimate do? The ultimate is a field buff that lasts 2 turns and buffs all allies' resistance span, letting them do more damage to enemies that usually resist a certain type of damage. This also has an additional effect that delays enemies' actions when they try to recover from a weakness break, essentially being able to force skip one of their turns. Lastly, I would like to mention her technique due to it being a bit more special than normal. This activates her skill at the beginning of combat and has additional effect in Simulated Universe. This makes an attack happen at the beginning of combat that does damage to their toughness bar, usually resulting in a weakness break at the beginning of combat. So that's her kit. What light cones do you build on her? First, her signature light cone, as it is made for her, is the best one to use. It increases break effect by 60%, which is one of the best stats for Ruan Mei, and it also increases the damage of allies after using the ultimate by 24%. In addition to all that, it also regenerates 10 energy for our allies at the beginning of every turn, so this light cone is stacked with all sorts of buffs that is amazing on its own, and that's with me almost forgetting about the fact that it also has skill point recovery. Anyways, moving on to less complex alternatives, Memories of the Past is another option that's amazing. It increases break effect like the signature light cone, as well as regenerates additional energy, making this one of the best options. And for those that don't have this light cone, an alternative for that is going to be Meshing Cogs, as it has the same effect just without the break effect increase, making it just as good an option on Ruan Mei. So that's it for light cones. What about traces? For traces, you want to upgrade almost everything except the basic attack. This is because the skill upgrades the damage buff, the ultimate upgrades the resistant pen buff, and the talent, the team-wide speed buff. So eventually everything does want to be upgraded, but the highest priority is going to be the skill, as it's the most impactful immediately. Now for relics, there are a couple of options, and especially a brand new one that came out recently with 2.0. So the best relic set is Watchmaker, which increases break effect by a substantial amount, which is one of Ruan Mei's most desired stats. Of course, the old set Thief is still really good, but it doesn't increase break effect by the same amount, though it is easier to get. Lastly, I do want to mention Messenger, as I have been seeing quite a bit of those builds on Ruan Mei to further enhance the teams that have been enjoying a lot of speed. Of course, this does come with the downside of relying more on subsets to increase break effect. For ornaments, there is only one option that increases break effect, which is banditry, so that makes it one of the best options, though I'm sure other sets can work if you can get the right substats for break effect. And speaking of break effect, why is it so important on Ruan Mei? This is because of this passive that she has. It increases the damage buff from her skill by a huge amount, essentially doubling the effect of a max level skill. With the only condition being you gotta have a lot of break effect. To be specific, 180%. Which is why in subsets, the most important stat is going to be break effect, with speed being second. So what do you go for in the other substats? Well, you build survivability. You want Ruan Mei to be alive to buff your team, so you build HP or defense on just about everything else, with energy regen being the only difference on rope. This is because all the buffs don't scale off of Ruan Mei's stats. So that's it for the video. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.